Hello, my name is Amir and I work as a product engineer on the Parcel Fabric. The session Advancing Land Management with Parcel Fabric Technology was presented in InterGEO 2025, and due to requests, I'm going to record it and make it available to others. So let's see, what is a Parcel Fabric? The Parcel Fabric is a comprehensive framework for managing, editing, and sharing parcel data in both multi-user editing environment or a single-user environment. And I'll dive a bit into that. It uses web services to connect different types of clients. As you can see here in the diagram, it can connect desktop, mobile, web browsers, and also expose API for automation. If we think about the cadastral system evolution, the old paradigm usually used a desktop machine running against local file. This creates many silos. The second step in the evolution was to connect the server to a centralized DBMS, but that also creates issues and dependencies between the clients and the centralized database. The new paradigm, of course, is to use web services. By using web services allows different types of clients to connect to it. And another advantage that is relevant to cadastral systems is that we can consume the web services as read-only, for example, in other systems. So if another government agencies needs to see the updated authoritative parcels at any given time, they know the web service is always current in the background and they can make the right decisions. It's a bit similar to how we used to run around with DVDs of raster files and now we just consume them as a web service. Or you can think about using your email, Outlook. You can connect to Outlook from your desktop, from your mobile, or from your web, and you always know that you see the current data at any given moment in time. The Parcel Fabric is not new in Esri. It's a fourth generation of cadastral technology. In the 2000s, we used ArcInfo with coverages. In 2010, ArcMap used geodatabase topology with cargo editing. In the ArcMap days, we purchased an Australian product and put it into ArcMap, and that was the ArcMap Parcel Fabric. And in 2019, we released the ArcGIS Pro Parcel Fabric, or the new Parcel Fabric, which works not only on the ArcGIS Pro client, but across the enterprise using ArcGIS Enterprise. You can even consume that in AutoCAD if you wanted to, because it's just a bunch of web services. That you can also publish it using open formats, OGC formats like WFS and so on, or KML, so it can be viewed and interacted in other types of clients. So here's some reasons why customers adopt the Parcel Fabric. So first reason is data in a cadastral system needs to be defendable. And we do that by associating all the features to the legal record, the source from which they came from, what created it. Another thing we can do when a parcel or a line or a point become historic, they get retired, we also know which legal record, which instrument caused it to go historic. Let's see a quick demo. Here we choose a road parcel and we can navigate the relationship to understand where it came from this right-of-way project. And it has the data. This is real data from a real customer. This is how they choose to maintain their data. Here we see two parcels that got merged. We can see the record type was a merge. We see how many parcels this record created and how many it retired. And we can see the historic parcels. So historic parcels do not get deleted. They are always there and we can always turn them on and off to view them. And we do that and we can also navigate to see which record created, of course, the merge parcel. So everything is being tracked. Another thing that we can see is the record geometry. So those are the legal footprints of every transaction. You can even publish this on the web and know exactly what happened in any given area because you'll have the record geometries in that location. Another thing that's very handy. And that comes to the next point, parcel lineage. So we saw before that parcels can get retired become historic, and also new parcels can get created. When we split and merge parcels, we actually do that. You can think about parcel lineage as like a family tree for parcel, a parent-child relationship between parcels that get merged and split over time. And each time we want to, of course, know what caused that transaction. So here we have some parcels from Germany. So we'll see some German attributes potentially. The first step in a record-driven workflow is always to create the record. So this is basically the driver, and now we know that every split, merge, or feature that gets created, we can associate it to the record. Now, once we create it, it will appear in the map. This is the active record, head over display we call that. And now we can perform a transaction like a split. Let's split this parcel into 5 proportional areas and press divide. We get 5 parcels, as well as, of course, the historic parcel. But first, let's name those parcels with their new names. We can use the sequential numbering tool to number them from 100 to 105, or in 4 in this example. And now we have the new parcel numbers. Of course, we still have the historic parcel in the background. So this shows how we can do a record-driven workflow, and in any moment in time we can also press the show only active that we saw before to only see the active parcels that got created. Now let's see how that would look in a parcel lineage perspective. So now we can create what we call a link chart, and this will show the same transaction we did. We took parcel 185 and used record that we created, the 2025 one, and that retired that parcel and created the new 5 parcels. So this is very helpful to see this parcel lineage in a graphical way. A third reason is topological integrity. We want the parcels to never have gaps and overlaps. We want to update when a point gets moved. We want all the features connected to that point, all the parcel corners, to move with it. So you can think about points as the glue of the parcel fabric. They can be shared between parcels in the same parcel type, but they can also be shared by different parcel types, because sometimes you might have ownership parcels, on top of that maybe taxation parcels, you might have easements, and even administrative boundaries. All share the same common point, and when that point moves, we want all those parcels, of course, to move to the new updated location. Here we'll see another behavior. I'm going to choose a point and simply move it. So you can see that all the lines across the street there, the collinear lines, they maintain the collinearity. We know we identify the tangency between those lines, and because of that, we can update them all and maintain the straight line of the parcel. Of course, we can also turn it off, and then it will bend in the nearest point. But this is a type of parcel behavior that we would like to see. So this is a bit about moving points. Of course, when that point moves, all the parcels connected to it moved with it. Another important point to make is that the Parcel Fabric supports all the cadastral systems, whether using coordinates to define your legal boundaries, or you use the meets and bounds, where we use measurements on lines to define the boundaries. The Parcel Fabric accommodates that. We also have customers that use fit-for-purpose methodologies, very cheap, not high accuracy usually, methodologies to capture data. And you can also use digital submission workflows or bring data from any CAD file to be used to create parcels. So here's a quick example. Here we use open data from Denmark, and we have an GNSS file, a CSV, of point names and XYZ. How do we bring that into the Parcel Fabric in order to update existing boundaries? Well, the first step is just to create points from that CSV file. There's a lot of tools for that. We'll specify the special reference, the accuracy, and we'll import those as fixed points because they are of high accuracy. And this is something you can determine and configure, of course. And now it's going to import those points and zoom to the correct location. And now that we have those new points, we're going to use a partial tool. But before that, let's just change the symbology to have the symbol obvious, and this is exaggerated, of course. So here we see the new locations of the points in red, and we have to update the parcel corners to that new location. Well, there's many geoprocessing tools in the Parcel Fabric. One of them is called the Import Parcel Fabric Points tool, and we can specify those source points, specify the target parcel fabric, and in this case we're using proximity to associate between the incoming points and the existing one, and 4 meters will be the update. And as you can see, the points move to the new location. The parcel boundary lines and polygon also updated to the new location. Not only that parcel, of course, all the parcels that were connected to that location have the new location. So this is one of the functionality that is used with coordinate-based cadastre. The main reason people adopt the Parcel Fabric is efficiency. We want to do the workflows we have to do in less time and produce better results. We can do that by using any editing tool available in ArcGIS Pro, plus all the Parcel Fabric specific tools. We can use tasks to automate repeatable workflows. There's a lot of geoprocessing tools that we can use and create geoprocessing models if we wanted to automate certain processes. And of course, there's rich APIs for those that want to automate things even further. One of the principles we like to follow is to always have a human in the loop, no black boxes that surprise users. One of the recent developments we did is the ability to read legal deeds that contain measurements. They are scanned, so we need to, of course, use OCR to extract the text. And once we extract the text, we can extract those measurements to create features. The user can review and change entries, or like, for example, if the OCR failed, they can review the misclose, and once they're happy, they can add it to their map as features. We can again use the show only active record features to see those features. This is geared towards the US market and deeds that contain the meets and bounds descriptions. Another reason is it's easy to adopt and it's highly configurable. Users normally don't want to customize, they don't want to develop, they just want to buy it and start using it. So one of the things we use is called tasks. They guide the user. So if you're new to ArcGIS Pro, you just need to be able to read the steps and you'll be given the right tool at the right time. It also uses your business language and it helps promote best practices, because many times there's more than one way of doing a workflow. So here I took the out-of-the-box tasks that we ship and translated them into probably bad German, but my German is not good enough to judge that. So here we do a merge workflow, and the first step, and you can see all the toolbars are hidden, all the panes. I'm just working within my task, and then I press create record, and a record got created. It goes to the next step, which is to identify the work area. This step is skippable because we're already in the right location, so we skipped it. And now we can perform the merge workflow. We can provide a new name for the parcel and press finish. And as you can see, the parcel got merged and the historic parcels also got created in the background. Legal areas, by the way, got summed up to the new merged parcel. To deploy the Parcel Fabric, you can just use a file, but if you have a big organization with many users, you probably want to manage their identity, know who does what, and allow them to edit simultaneously. Potentially, they cannot push their edits to the master, to the default version. That goes through the QA process, and if the QA finds it appropriate, then it can get pushed and become authoritative data. That's a difficult word to say. So, of course, that you do with the enterprise deployment, but we are going to add a new type of deployment soon called SaaS, stands for Software as a Service. And we are going to use our ArcGIS Online environment for that SaaS offering. You can still connect to it from ArcGIS Pro, your web and mobile, just like you can do with Enterprise, but you don't need to have your own DBMS and infrastructure on premise in order to use that. Here we can see me connected to ArcGIS Online. Where it's stored, I have no idea. It's somewhere on the cloud. We are working here with data from Ghana, public data, and we'll do again the same workflow that we've seen before. That record type, by the way, is completely configurable. You saw that in the German case there were different values there. And in order to do the merge workflow, we're just going to select the parcels we want to merge, and we are going to give the new parcel a new name and press merge. And as soon as we do this edit, it is done. Anyone connected to this data on ArcGIS Online will see that edit being reflected. There's no versioning in this case. Last person wins. So the edit is immediately reflected. So that was a quick demo of that. Another point that's important to make is people ask, is this only working in the US? And this is a misconception because, of course, we have a lot of materials and where we use data of US customers that gave us permission to use their data. Most other countries do not usually allow that, so that's why many of you see examples with US data. But just to, it's been implemented already in every continent except Antarctica, by the way, which has no cadastre, and I think that's a good thing, but that's my personal view. But if you look at other countries except the US, you'll see it in Canada, Australia, Cyprus, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Bonaire, Barbados, and the list goes on and on and on. And those are places where it's already used in production. There's many countries that are adopting it currently. For them, some of them it takes a few weeks to a few months to a few years, depending on the complexity. And usually what takes the most time is the integration to other business systems. So just keep that in mind, and training workforce and so on. Built-in configurable quality rules. So quality is very important in every system of record. And for that reason, we have many quality engines that we use. We use topology rules. We use attribute rules, which is our amazing framework if you are not aware of those yet. And we also have our own dedicated tools to find common issues. For those of you that use meets and bounds, we use least square adjustment, both free network adjustment and constrained, using the DynAdjust least square engine from Geoscience Australia. And those this will be probably very interesting for those that do use least square adjustment. And everything, of course, is configurable because quality rules are different between organizations. Here we see one tool that we created just for a common problem, which is gaps and overlaps. You can define the maximum width that is available because maybe roads in your jurisdictions are a valid gap. So that's why the tolerance is there. And with one click of the button, using GPU, parallel processing, etc., very fast, you can find all the gaps and overlaps in your data, and you can look at them in different scales. So they are apparent in every scale, so you can easily zoom to them. And do we only show you the problem? No, we also have tools to solve the problems, alignment tools. We won't see all of them today, but you can deal with those issues and fix them. And how did we create the Parcel Fabric? Well, the LADM, which stands for the Land Administration Domain Model, which is an ISO standard, was published as a standard in 2012. We designed the Parcel Fabric after that, so we made sure that it is in compliance with the LADM. It's not a surprise that it is conformant with the LADM standard. It's also been adjusted and configured to meet other standards like the CAD NSDI by the US Federal FGC organization to support the PLSS, which is the Public Land Survey System in the US. It also meets the requirements of the Canadian Parcel Domain Model, CPDM, and you can basically adjust it to any information model that you need for your organization or country very easily. How do you extend the information model? So here we see data from the Dutch cadastre as sample data of where I live, by the way, and it came with some attributes in Dutch. They have to do with the municipality code and the section in which the parcels fall. and we would like to extend the parcels with the same attributes. So in ArcGIS Pro, it's very easy. You can simply right-click, copy the fields you want from your source and paste them in the target. So let's see how you can do that. Simply select the fields you want to copy. They have, of course, a type, whether they're a string, a double, integer, and so on. And you go and you paste them, and then you save them to the schema. And this can happen on a file database, on your SQL Server, Postgres, or Oracle. It doesn't matter, it's the same. That's the beauty. You can also extend the code list, the domains, and many other features of the schema. I'm going to show a few more demos, but before I lose everybody, just a summary. That's just a quick peek of some capabilities of the Parcel Fabric. There are many, many more that are not shown in this presentation. One of the important things for us was to make sure it's easy to adopt and fast to deploy. So any data that I get from customers will take me probably from minutes to maybe an hour to put into the Parcel Fabric. Of course, every implementation you have many details, and you probably have to rethink some of the things like old schemas and so on. But in essence, the process is very easy. It's efficient, scalable, and configurable. You can use it to manage 10,000 parcels or 10 million. It will scale. You can evaluate your data using your own business rules to find your quality issues. Then you can decide how you prioritize fixing them. It is modern. It uses web services and service-oriented architecture, which has many advantages beyond just looking at the same data on the web. It also helps with integration to business systems and so on. It maintains the historic parcels and the parcel lineage like we saw, and it was designed to work anywhere, on any client, any cadastral system. And I will also add that you can take the data offline and it will work offline. So anywhere means maybe also if you want to work on parcels while you're flying in a plane on vacation. I don't know why you want to do that, but you could. And you can deploy it on your premise, in your own infrastructure, or you can deploy it on a cloud, your cloud, somebody else's cloud, and soon to come also as a SaaS solution, software as a service. If you're still with me, here's a few quick demos that I also showed. Before that, if you want to keep up to date, we have this thing called Meetup. It's free, and you just join it, and then you get notified when we have once every few months we have a web meeting where we show new capabilities, or one of our customers show their own implementation. So it becomes very interesting, both from technological perspective and business perspective. And you can see that there's a few thousand members on there. Some of our customers use the Parcel Fabric also to manage 2.5D, the third dimension for condominium units, and we have tools to support that. In this case, we get DWG file and we convert that into units in a condominium. That is a simultaneous conveyance and a conveyance division type in the US. And the customer that is doing that is Maricopa County in Arizona, where Phoenix is. So if you ever want to, you can talk with them. Other customers sometimes need to create a title map or a kind of a parcel report. In this case, example for Ghana, they have legal scales. And all you have to do is select a parcel and it will generate a PDF with sequence numbers around the parcel. You can specify where it starts. And everything in this layout is dynamic. So the coordinates in the table, the locality section region, and even the owner's name are completely automated. So all you need is to sign and be done. So that's another tool we have. What if you have DWG files? So here we can bring all the polylines from a DWG, specify the layers that are relevant to us, and then copy those lines to the active record that we have. You'll see these blue dots that we call them parcel seeds, very useful to find where you have overshoots, undershoots issues before you build the parcels. In this case, we're also going to plannerize the lines and we're going to update their COGO values. So that means that we're going to have direction and distances on every line. And if we zoom, we can see those labels come to life. the only thing we need to do is build the parcels, which now creates parcels, and then use the align parcels tool to align the parcels to the surrounding. We have two options based on what's more accurate. Of course, you probably want to attribute the parcels correctly after that and give them names. But you saw how easy it is to bring CAD data into the Parcel Fabric. This, by the way, can also be automated. Here we see data in ArcGIS Pro in the desktop, and here we see the same data published in a web map in the browser, right? So now we're going to go through the same workflow we saw before of merging it in a multi-user environment. So this map is actually point using web services against the server. And sorry for this message here, to the server. And we are going to now perform the merge. And after that, we can reconcile and post the version, basically pull the edits from the default versions if those occurred, and then push my edits to the default version. And there are no conflicts. Nobody did any edits in this location since I created my version. So I can just post it. And once I post it, it immediately becomes available for everybody. So I refresh the map and I can see the edit being reflected in the web map. So this is part of the beauty of using ArcGIS Enterprise versioning and web services. Let's see if there's more demos. No, that was it. Thank you for seeing this video. You're welcome to leave comments, requests, and I'll do my best to see if we can meet those. Bye-bye.